Kuzu Zambo and welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Isha Galson. Our top stories this week: recent windstorm affects more than 300 households in Sarbang. Dropout rate in Laya's lower secondary school worrisome. And Jemgang's dress code rule not yet implemented. The recent windstorm coupled with hailstone affected some 360 households in Sarbang. It damaged crops in over 90 acres of land in Shompangkha, Gakili and Singegeogs.
People clear the storm damage and salvage whatever they can. Roofs of 6 houses were blown away in Shompangkha and Gakili. Local authorities built temporary shelters for affected families. But it is not only houses that were affected. Thousands of fruit trees were damaged in Gakling and Shompangkha Gyogs. Storm flattened the maize, leaving the locals helpless. The storm left a trail of destruction.
Dele hencheda ani dichugi bewachen ekarchi dechi ti maybe asuishi sunila dele domadi ngagi ekar sina yebila ekar sina jachang apchu dechi di 11 ngagi maybe asuishi sunila.
Around 2 acres of chili, but it's totally now wastage because I thought that at least I can supply around. My plan is to cover Thimphu regarding chili supply, but thing is that this now is totally damaged.
The storm damaged 12 poultry farms, killing some 700 birds. Meanwhile, power lines were blown down and there is a blackout since the storm on Thursday afternoon. Work is underway to restore the power supply by this evening. For Karmawandi in Sarbang, Pemasalun Sring, BBS News.
2017 recorded the highest number of teachers leaving the profession as per the annual education statistics. The Education Ministry is therefore planning to focus on teacher empowerment in the 12th five-year plan. This will be done through better working conditions and professional development.
Of the 345 teachers who left the profession, 260 voluntarily resigned last year. While the record shows a drop in the number of teachers leaving the profession in 2014 and 2015, it has increased in the last 2 years.
In terms of the number and the percentage leaving is no different from any other civil servants leaving from their own organizations. Nevertheless, for the teachers to leave the education system, even if one single teacher leaves the education system, it must be a concern for us. And so how do we address this situation? Basically, we must dignify our teachers. We must accord the respect for the profession of teaching.
Streamlining teachers' workload, facilitating to send 350 teachers annually to pursue master's degree, 80 hours of professional development annually for teachers are few initiatives the ministry will undertake. The Education Minister said the ministry has allocated 400 million Ngutum for professional development in the 12th five-year plan.
The other is we need to provide fair good working conditions to our teachers. Most of our teachers, especially in the remote Dzongkhaks, suffer from not having a proper decent house to live in, and so therefore in the 12th plan we have planned to we are targeting about 80% of the teachers to be living in the campus in government quarters built by the Ministry for Education.
Do you know how to put this number in secret? Yes.
Through these initiatives, it is expected to raise the quality of teachers significantly and help in retention of teachers in the education system. Sunampem for BBS News.
Works over the Dalbari-Dagapela Secondary National Highway in Tagana is in full swing. Around 60% of it has been completed. Works resumed only in March last year after a halt of almost 2 years. Works to complete the Secondary National Highway are on full swing. Most of the works such as formation cutting, base course and construction of drainages and retaining walls are almost complete. The focus now is on formation cutting over a cliff. Another attention is on blacktopping 4 kilometers of road which will connect Tagapela 0 to Tagapela town. This is expected to be completed before the start of the monsoon season this year, and locals are excited.
Earlier, when the works were put on hold, we faced a lot of inconveniences. Now, as the works have begun and the roads are maintained, it has become very helpful for us. We no longer have to carry loads on our backs.
Earlier, the condition of the road was very bad. Most of the time, it remained blocked. Now, when it completes, it will be convenient for us to travel to Thimphu and Phuntsholing in a short time. We are very thankful.
According to the project coordinator Pematinle, works have been divided into 5 packages. Blacktopping over the stretch of road from Thamoizinka is already being blacktopped. Blacktopping on the others is expected to start only next year. The 80-kilometer secondary highway is being constructed at a cost of almost 1.5 billion ngultram. For Namgyewanshu in Tagana, Yisha Gelson, BBS News. The number of students dropping out of school in the past years at Laya Lower Secondary School is a cause of concern. Some students leave to join monkhood, while others stay home to help their parents. Last year alone, 10 students left school before finishing class 8.
After the winter break, this year's academic session started a month ago. Of about 150 students in the school, some of them rejoined only after the recently concluded Kasa Tsechu. As teaching learning continues amongst the snow, 7 students are yet to turn up for school this year.
During the courtship seasons, children are taken with parents on the mountains to collect courteships. Parents think that their children are not taken care by their older parents at home, and then they wish to take children with them to collect courteships.
In the past 5 years, 36 students left school. The school is doing their best to keep children in school by encouraging the parents to use the boarding facilities.
They say that their children are not willing to stay in the boarding. And then I've been talking to most of the parents that they can keep their children few days in the boarding, few days as day scholars. But they are not willing to practice this system because I wanted children to adapt to the boarding facilities, boarding situations.
One among the many who left school is 21-year-old Pasang Doji. He was studying in class 9 when he dropped out of school in 2015.
First of all, I can be of help to my parents here in the village. Nowadays, even with a degree, people are without jobs. I thought I might not get a job by studying. That's why I stayed back.
Pasang's father, Sangyedoji, wanted his son to continue his studies and be better in life.
My wish was for my son to do better than me. Today, when I get onto a bus, I have to ask around for my seat number. I don't know anything. We, the parents, have raised them until now, but they do not listen.
Similarly, 19-year-old Leki Om left school in 2013, but unlike Pasang Doji, her parents wanted her to leave school to help them at home. For Pasang Doji and Leki Om, their journey with education has ended, and the school is worried that the 7 students might suffer the same fate as theirs. From Gaza, Sharaf Doji, PBS News.
The College of Zurich Chusum in Trashiangsi saw an increasing number of students interested in the art of gold and silver smithing. Every year, only about 5 new students joined the college until last year, but the college has increased its intake of students to 10 this year.
One of the tools a gold or silversmith reaches for most often is their hammer. Just to pick the right hammer can be a daunting task. Making objects out of gold and silver with intricate designs is a daily routine for these students. Today, these third year and final year students are designing butter lamps and koma. But for 10 new students, first they need to learn how to polish their equipment.
My interest is in gold and silver smithing. There is a general belief that it is not a work of women. I, being a woman, volunteered to become a gold and silver smith. It is challenging, but since it is my interest, I joined it.
For me, be it Lari or Tuzo or any kind of Zurich, all are same. The only difference is in doing the work. That is why I joined in gold and silver smithing class.
Till last year, the youth were not much aware of our institute. Therefore, we could enroll only a few students. Those who come are interested in painting, sculpture, tailoring and embroidery. Not much are interested in tezo.
But students shared, the society still looks down, discouraging many from choosing this profession.
We used to explain that Tuzo is one who works with gold and silver.
When I told my parents that I joined Tezo, they were a bit unhappy. They said it is a man's job. But now I am in 4th year and I am able to do it. Back in the village, they refer it as blacksmithing and some other terms, but I always explain them the differences.
But the students find this ancient craft fascinating, and what's more, they are likely to leave the course wearing a beautiful gold or silver item handcrafted by them. For Sirinzam in Tashiangsi, Tanin Finso, BBS News.
Venturing into commercial farming in areas close to the border is sometimes not a good idea. Farmers in Langchenphugyok in Samrup Jonkar began growing watermelon last year for every prospect of success. But people buy watermelons from Indian towns at a very cheap rate.
Tanmoti Suba is one of the locals of Langchenphugyok who started cultivating watermelon from last year. She is growing watermelons in 1 acre of land this year. It will be ready for harvest in the next 2 months. She is expecting to earn about 60,000 yutam. But Danmoti is worried that she may not get market for her produce.
Here the market is small. People from across the border produce watermelons in huge amount by using chemicals. They charge only 5 ngitam for 2 kilograms, so people don't buy from us. We say our produce is organic and charge 20 ngitam, but people are not ready to pay that. Last year, I lost about 200 kilograms of watermelon.
Watermelons from India looks nice compared to ours, since we don't use any chemicals. But our local produce tastes better. We have been selling at a very low price, sometimes even less than the price in India. We have to sell it as fast as possible because if we store, it gets spoiled.
According to the Dzongkhag agriculture officials, it is profitable only if farmers fetch about 25 ngitam per kilogram. However, they have plans to supply watermelons to other districts if production is more this year. About 5,000 kilograms of watermelons were produced last year in Lanchifu and Pinsatangewokes. For Kiloanchu in Samrup Pup KM for BBS News.
The Economic Affairs Ministry will convert its existing service center in Thimphu to a business incubation or startup center soon. This is a part of the ministry's effort to support aspiring entrepreneurs through provision of affordable infrastructure facilities and other business development services.
The Department of Cottage and Small Industry will develop the service center in Jangzamto to a business incubation center. Aspiring entrepreneurs can use the facility for 2 years to set up and run their businesses from. After the incubation period, new startups will take over the spaces. The facility will house 61 business incubation units. An official from the Economic Affairs Ministry said they want to encourage people, especially unemployed youth, materialize their new business ideas. Meanwhile, the ministry has already notified the 32 occupants using the service center to vacate latest by this June end. The occupants had actually signed the lease agreement for 10 years with effect from 2011. They are now planning to write to the ministry regarding the notice. The service center was established in early 90s to provide space for establishing printing press and automobile workshops among others. For Pemosalin Sring, this is Sring Dandu for BBS News.
Jamgang is still not able to implement the rule for people to wear ko and kira from 9 am to 5 pm. After the Dzongkhag Tsogdo passed the resolution, the rule was supposed to come into effect from 21st February this year. The Dzongkhag Tsogdo discussed on the dress code 3 times.
Local residents in Jamgang can still be seen milling around without go and kira. They are actually supposed to wear go and kira wherever they are, except for those working in farms, construction sites and attending to some emergencies.
Gingup imation ngache songpa gar gingus lab dewa mi phalusu umedi soyang deuda mindula darna bala
sa jukhala ba gadbe goda kire genni de nam dresa be nam sam sasep dar genmi sebe la ani be ni degi ta to khonlara de chemetem ba da ngache jukhala ba de chetin sa mende bana kya di sing si sun dui gi ani gogingu in se afa bazale umda de kap ka hebda ani gogimbera umbila.
People in rural areas want the rule to be implemented in the town first.
Tida tungara gi biochi na Dzongkhag ki khatule office order ma heba la ngasi DT ki meeting na di ngasi ki thachi sai debyo da Dzongkhag ki office order ma heba anelu gudi la ngara gi biochi.
But the Dzongkhag administration said they will further discuss and prepare the office order. For Pema Samdrup in Jamgang, Sunam Pem for BBS News.
The piloting of Gudul, a traditional Korean room heating technology, has been a success in Gaza. The system uses heat from smoke of burning firewood to heat up an entire room. Our reporter Sharab Doji found out more about the technology.
This is the first room in the country where the floor has been heated using Gudul, a traditional Korean room heating technology. And as I move across the room, I can feel the warmth underneath my feet.
The room is fully insulated using desho, a traditional paper, and was implemented by Master Dong-ha Kim, the number 2 Gudul master in South Korea.
The heating is made possible by burning firewood outside, so let's see how it is made. This is where the firewood is burned, and 7 sticks of firewood can last more than a day.
The smoke after heating up the stone slabs inside the room comes out from this chimney. The pilot room has been set up at the Zongda's residence.
The other benefit, major benefit, why this is being used in the olden times and even today is becoming popular, I think even in Korea, is the health benefits. This is highly beneficial in correcting the diseases or disorders such as rheumatism, arthritis, UTI, and skin diseases.
Here outside they are making a model of the good old Korean traditional heating system, and they're making it outside just to show as a model. And I have with me the Zonghak the Cheki. Now, could you tell us how the whole thing works?
So, firstly, our furnace is out here. So we will start the fire from out here. So inside we have a big hole. So that big hole will covered by a bigger dolet, bigger size dolet. And the why we are making the channel is mainly for distributing the heats. So if after constructing the channel, then we will cover the channel with the dolet, and on top of dolet we will provide the 10 centimeter of the soil, and on top of the soil again we will provide the red mud plaster, and top of that red mud plaster we will provide the desho paper.
A feasibility study found Lunanagewo could save an estimated 3 million Newton every year on firewood with the technology. Similar project will now be piloted in Ha. From Gaza, this is Sharab Doji, BBS News.
For the first time, farmers in Jemgang are cultivating spring paddy. And this is thanks to the government for restoring irrigation channels, which is in use since February. Farmers say paddy fields were left fallow for years without water.
Takabi and Marangdut are the first ever villages to go for spring paddy cultivation in Jemgang. It means the paddy fields that were left fallow for almost 3 decades will now be growing paddy twice in a year. Villagers said it has not only benefited paddy cultivation but also other farming activities in the village as the place enjoys a favorable climatic condition. And this is the water source for Yadigang Irrigation Channel, inaugurated in January. The 3-kilometer channel in Takabi will help irrigate 67 acres of paddy fields. The spring paddy will be harvested in June, and it is expected to change the lives of people here. Popema Samdub in Jemgang, this is Sonam Chodin for BBS News.
Similarly, in Trashiangsi, the National Seed Centre's regional office has ventured into raising orange saplings for the first time. Through the initiative, the centre plans to distribute disease-free saplings across the country.
Although it is not common to see people raising orange saplings in places like Trashiangsi, the regional centre says its maiden attempt to do so is a success. Currently, about 40,000 saplings are ready for distribution.
Citrus greening is more common in lower places. That's why we thought of raising the saplings here, disease-free, and distribute it to the people. With this effort, we hope to stop the disease from spreading. We actually have a regional center in Gelifu that supplies around 70 to 80,000 orange seedlings in a year.
He added the center has not used any chemicals in growing the saplings. Also, earlier tests have confirmed no prevalence of any diseases.
Before we supply it to the farmers, we will once again conduct tests to ensure the plants are disease-free. If there is none, we will distribute. If not, we will have to burn the saplings.
The The center plans to charge 35 Newton per sapling. For Sringzam in Tashyangsi, this is Sringdandu for BBS News.
Well, that's all for this time. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.